MP Brian Mundubile of the Patriotic Front, PF, has issued a sharp critique of the ruling United Party for National Development, UPND, asserting that the party is poised to lose the 2026 general elections due to what he describes as a misplaced sense of accomplishment. Speaking in response to recent remarks by Teji MP Twambo Matinta, who claimed that Zambians had resolved to be led by UPND forever, Mundubile dismissed such declarations as unrealistic and disconnected from the lived experiences of ordinary citizens. He argued that the UPND's internal assessment of having fulfilled over 90% of its campaign promises is not only exaggerated but also dangerously out of touch with the socio-economic realities facing Zambians today. According to Mundubile, the ruling party's confidence in its performance is undermined by persistent economic challenges, including the rising cost of essential commodities and the deteriorating purchasing power of households. He emphasized that while the UPND may believe it has delivered on its pledges, the electorate continues to grapple with inflation, unemployment, and a lack of tangible improvements in their daily lives. This disconnect, he warned, could prove fatal at the ballot box, as voters are unlikely to reward a government that appears oblivious to their struggles. The MP's remarks reflect a broader sentiment within opposition circles that the UPND's governance has failed to meet expectations, particularly in areas such as economic reform, job creation, and public service delivery. Critics argue that the party's focus on self-congratulatory narratives has come at the expense of meaningful engagement with citizens and responsive policymaking. Mundubile's intervention thus serves as both a political warning and a strategic positioning ahead of the 2026 elections, where the PF hopes to capitalize on public dissatisfaction and reclaim power. From a political analysis standpoint, Mundubile's statement underscores the importance of perception management in electoral politics. While governments often rely on internal metrics and policy benchmarks to evaluate their performance, it is ultimately the public's perception that determines electoral outcomes. In this case, the UPND's assertion of having achieved over 90% of its promises may resonate within party structures, but it risks alienating voters who feel left behind. The tension between official narratives and grassroots realities is a recurring theme in Zambian politics, and Mundubile's critique taps into this dynamic with calculated precision. Moreover, the MP's comments highlight the strategic use of opposition rhetoric to frame the ruling party as complacent and disconnected. By portraying the UPND as overly confident and self-satisfied, Mundubile seeks to position the PF as the more grounded and responsive alternative. This narrative is likely to be amplified in the coming months as political parties intensify their campaigns and seek to shape public opinion. The framing of the UPND as a party that has lost touch with the electorate could become a central theme in opposition messaging, especially if economic conditions fail to improve. It is also worth noting the symbolic weight of Mundubile's rebuttal to Matinta's claim that UPND will lead forever. Such statements, while perhaps intended to express loyalty or optimism, can backfire when interpreted as dismissive of democratic processes or voter agency. Mundubile's response reasserts the principle that political legitimacy must be earned through performance and accountability, not assumed through partisan declarations. In doing so, he reinforces the opposition's commitment to democratic contestation and the idea that no party is immune to electoral scrutiny. The broader implications of this exchange extend beyond partisan rivalry. They speak to the evolving expectations of Zambian voters, who increasingly demand transparency, results, and responsiveness from their leaders. The 2026 elections will likely hinge on the ability of parties to address these expectations credibly and convincingly. For the UPND, this means moving beyond internal assessments and engaging more deeply with the concerns of ordinary citizens. For the PF and other opposition groups, it means articulating a compelling alternative vision that resonates with the electorate's aspirations. In the context of Zambia's political landscape, Mundubile's remarks also reflect the strategic recalibration of the PF following its loss in the 2021 elections. The party has been working to rebuild its image, reconnect with voters, and present itself as a viable alternative to the UPND. By focusing on issues such as economic hardship and governance disconnect, PF leaders aim to reframe the political conversation and shift attention away from past controversies. Mundubile's critique thus serves as both a tactical maneuver and a reflection of the party's broader electoral strategy. From a media and SEO perspective, the framing of this story touches on key themes that drive engagement and visibility: political accountability, economic challenges, voter sentiment, and democratic contestation. These elements not only enhance the relevance of the coverage but also position it within the broader discourse on governance and electoral dynamics in Zambia. By highlighting the contrast between official narratives and public realities, the story invites readers to critically assess the performance of their leaders and consider the implications for future elections. In conclusion, Brian Mundubile's assertion that the UPND will lose the 2026 elections due to its overconfidence and disconnect from citizens' realities is more than a political jab. It is a strategic intervention aimed at reshaping the electoral narrative. It reflects the opposition's efforts to capitalize on public dissatisfaction and reassert its relevance in the national conversation. As Zambia approaches another pivotal election, the interplay between perception, performance, and political messaging will be crucial in determining the outcome. Whether the UPND can recalibrate its approach and reconnect with voters remains to be seen, but the warning from Mundubile is clear. Electoral success is not guaranteed by self-assessment. It must be earned through tangible results and genuine engagement.